Taiwan wants to increase reliance on nuclear power for its energy consumption, and critics are furious. For more than 20 years, the island has struggled to find a permanent dumping ground for its nuclear waste. Until today, some of it is still temporarily stored near poor communities in return for money and development. Now, nuclear power plants produce clean energy, but also radioactive waste. If not safely managed, it can harm people and the environment for thousands of years. I'm Chan Tao Cho. In this edition of 101 East, we look at energy usage in Taiwan and ask, what is the human cost of electricity here?
In the past, we could catch a lot of fish. Not so much now.
The yam we grew used to be so beautiful. We don't get yam like that anymore. It also doesn't taste as good since the nuclear waste storage was built. We have had more health problems. More people dying from cancer.
"60 kilometers off Taiwan's south coast, Orchid Island has been a storage site for nearly 100,000 barrels of the nation's low-level nuclear waste since the 1980s. New shipments stopped in 1996 after years of protests by islanders against health risks posed by the radioactive waste. It includes contaminated clothing, tools, and cleaning agents. Much of the waste came from Taiwan's 3 nuclear power plants. They supply 20% of its energy needs. This storage site comes under the care of the state-run Taiwan Power Company, or TAIPOWER. It is currently treating and repacking rusted older barrels of waste, which has caused much concern due to possible radioactive leakage.
Here, safety is a top priority. The cement walls containing the barrels are 35 centimeters thick. That's just the first level of protection. If rainwater gathers in the facility, the drainage system collects and contains it so it doesn't leak into the environment. Staff moving in and out of risky areas are checked to ensure they stay within safe levels of exposure.
Despite these precautions, it's hard to convince many locals that the damage isn't already done. Deep suspicion remains among those old enough to remember the government's claims in the 1970s leading up to the construction of the site.
When they first started building it, government officials told us they were building a fish cannery to help fishermen here. It was a big lie.
We found out what it was too late.
It was only when missionaries brought Taiwanese news reports to the island that the truth was revealed. Against this backdrop of distrust, the story of Taiwan's nuclear controversy unfolds. Orchid Island is home to about 4,000 indigenous Taiwanese of the Tao tribe. They have close linguistic and ethnic ties to the Austronesian peoples of the Philippines. There are fewer than 500,000 Aborigines in Taiwan today. They lived here long before the Han Chinese arrived in the 17th century. Orchid Island was a restricted area for ethnological research until 1967. Many people here still maintain their traditional lifestyle.
Our traditional homes are built partly underground to protect against typhoons.
Xiamen Jiakneng is a community leader who also works as a nature tour guide. To him, the root of the nuclear issue is one of clashing civilizations.
Why must it be dumped here? Orchid Island doesn't benefit from nuclear power. It's like throwing Taiwan's rubbish in our backyard. To us, that's disrespectful. There has been more cases of cancer. News reports say cancer and radiation are related. So that affects our emotional well-being. We've been seeing deformed fish and changes to the flora and fauna. We can't say for sure if it has to do with the nuclear waste. But you do wonder why these things only happen in recent times and not in the past.
In the past, perhaps there wasn't enough communication with locals about our comprehensive safety measures. It's better now. The younger ones understand. We create a lot of employment here, so many have changed their attitudes towards us.
Besides jobs, the government provides numerous benefits to islanders in return for storing Taiwan's nuclear waste here. Among them, medical subsidies, scholarships, and various public amenities. The majority of Aborigines here live in poverty. In recent years, they received 2 cash handouts of more than $6 million each time. TAIPOWER records reveal that since 1982, it has dished out nearly $40 million worth of compensation in cash and kind. One of the most popular benefits, free electricity. Today, the talk among many villagers is not just about how much radiation, but how much benefit they're getting in return.
For me, it might be inconvenient if they remove the waste because we'd probably have to pay for electricity. Many elders want it to go, but some people think since the nuclear waste is already here, the damage is done. Just be resigned and benefit from it.
The government has promised to start shipping out the nuclear waste by 2016 once it finds a permanent disposal site.
Even if the waste is taken away, the government still needs to take care of locals. The radiation will remain, maybe for hundreds of years before it can resume to normal levels of the natural environment. The fact that we get compensation means it's not a good thing, but the government will never admit it.
There can never be enough compensation. What about our lives? What are our lives worth? We don't need the site. We can depend on our yam, or we can fish. We won't starve. Yam is very filling.
But for many among the younger generation, perhaps yam and fish are not enough. This is the annual dinner for the TAIPOWER staff working at the storage site, many of them indigenous islanders. San MANLAN's job is to monitor radiation levels at the work site. He used to actively campaign against the government's nuclear plans. After attending a course on nuclear radiation, he became an outspoken supporter.
People keep saying it's the mother of all evils. But because of my job, I'm very clear about the background radiation levels on this island. I love my village, my family, and I'm very meticulous at my job to make sure that there's no unhealthy radioactivity. People can fall ill or get cancer due to many reasons. It could be our bad dietary habits these days, or that we eat more processed food. There's so much misunderstanding because of ignorant gossip. People just parrot what they hear. I'm very upset when villagers tell me off. They call me a traitor. They call me TAIPOWER's slave. But I take my work seriously. I put in more effort for this land than the people who just talk about it. Many villagers are only interested in the manner of compensation. They want cash, not development. But what can they do after using it up? So we have people who wait for the compensation to come, just to get drunk for a month. The focus should really be on programs to benefit future generations. I say let's leave the nuclear waste here and have a win-win situation. We get what we need from the government, and they do what they need to do.
SYAPEN MANAKNONG is a proud tribal elder in one of the 6 Aboriginal communities here. Now 65 years old, he knows times are changing. Sharing his views on this matter, he insisted it was an occasion worthy of shaking the dust off his old warrior's uniform.
We used to be very much anti-nuclear. Over time, the anger has eased among many people because there's compensation. Our younger generation likes it that way. If the government ships it away in 2016, we probably lose the benefits. It's a big dilemma. So it's important we keep our customs, build our canoes, catch flying fish, worship God. Growing yam is a very important tradition too. That's because it's practical, it's filling. Rice is different, it's scattered. Yam unites.
In SYAPEN MANAKNONG's world, perhaps the biggest price paid for Taiwan's nuclear policy is a community divided over money. Seeking a permanent solution for storing its nuclear waste, Taiwan tried negotiating with North Korea, China, and the Solomon Islands to send it overseas, but without success. Now plans are on course to find a permanent resting place in a remote seaside village in southeast Taiwan. Once again, an Aboriginal community faces the prospect of accepting this toxic duty. After the break, we visit the Taiwan tribe in Nantian village and also look at Taiwan's long-term energy plans beyond nuclear power.